Our next roundtable member, we have a dynamic duo. Macleans Geo-JaJa is a professor of economics and education at Brigham Young University, where he teaches courses in economics of education as well as human rights and poverty courses. And his associate, Zehlia Babaci-Wilhite, is the administrative coordinator at the University of Oslo for a program for institutional transformation research and outreach. She also works at the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania and speaks a number of languages and has been teaching languages in various institutions since 1992. And we welcome you both and look forward to your comments.
Thank you very much. The title of our work is Human Rights in Development Aid for Self-Determination, Any Cause for Education Concern. Zehlia and I have been working on this, trying to push the frontier of right to education to right in education, because what the UN 1948 Declaration of Human Rights does entitle us to is right to education. So since this is a very interesting, for us, construct, I'm going to read a paper which we have just sent out for publication, just some section of it, so that we can understand the distinctive difference we have placed between right to education and right in education.
Please speak up for the elderly.
Okay, sir. And Gary will become very instrumental in this process, because him and I had about 1 hour discussion this morning. The concept right to education. In this conceptualization, students are learning how to learn what the educator wants them to learn. The freedom of students is violated in that they are not allowed to find in their own meaning or what to be. In the context of right in education, right in education is conditioned on the premise to cover all uncertain, unalienable rights, be it locally or internationally, determined as a result of establishing social core values and just right for larger freedom. It makes for a compelling reason for the necessity of a student having a well-regulated freedom and not just learning about freedom. In this vein, a student must be given the maximum amount of freedom possible to develop according to its nature, and so that the teacher can discover its idiosyncrasies, nature, and make lessons that are in conformity with natural development. Indeed, a major task for the teacher is to watch and learn about the ever-changing student and the environment, and above all, not interfere with the student's nature, which is a reflection of the sacred. The major difference between the two concepts is that in right in education, students are not just to accept or simply agree with what the teacher is saying. Also, intrinsic motivation comes entirely from within and not dependent on any outside agent, which is the international agency. Whereas in right to education, from a prescriptive curriculum, is for acquiring just information than what a student finds meaningful, as driven by extrinsic motivation from the outside. What does this mean? For our present topic, that only with freedom that recipients have the ability to develop the capacity to discover for themselves, the capacity for self-discovery, the capacity for self-determination, what is right and good, instead of having to be told what is right and good through conditionalities. This implies that larger freedom or dignity that is indispensable is a necessary and sufficient condition at the beginning of the learning process of the student or the child, and the determination of the right and good development path. So right in education ensures and guarantees self-discovery, dignity of language, respect of language, and at the same time, determines a development path, which you might call a new world development system. my colleague will try to infuse this into language of respecting the right to education.
Yes. Well, my focus is on language of instruction. So I'm trying to understand why Africa does not include local languages as language of instruction. So I have worked in Tanzania, where it's a country with a national language, a local language, Kiswahili, and Tanzania is teaching Kiswahili or use Kiswahili as a language of instruction in primary school. But in 2010, Zanzibar, which is part of Tanzania, has changed the reform and is switching from Kiswahili to English as a language of instruction in mathematics and science. Therefore, I'm trying to understand why this shift and also why African countries are not going the other way and implementing African languages in not only primary school but secondary schools. And this will bring meaning to learning and dignity. Thank you.